to my cluttered garage. I'm really glad you're here. A place where we can laugh and talk and days are filled with cheer. The clouds and sun may come and go, but one thing's always clear. Welcome back, my friend. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
Oh, hi. Welcome back, everybody. I am really glad you're here. And it is live stream number 208, and the date is August 11th, 2025. And I'm laughing because I was just sitting here getting ready for coming on live here, and I was reading through the comments. And I'm just reading and reading through and just looking at everything. And then I just looked up at the clock and I said 7:03. And I said, holy cow. I forgot to even, I didn't know what time it was. I was just reading comments and having a good time. Anyway, so that's why we started a little bit later tonight. But thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. If you're new to the live stream, what we do here is we talk about the channel, which is focused on our compact tractors and some DIY stuff, some life in the country, some projects, different things. That's what we do. We talk about that. If it's your first time here, please say hi in the live chat so that we can most appropriately welcome you and let us know how you found the channel. Was it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok? We do this every Monday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, just 1 hour. And then we wrap up by 8 o'clock. But before we do wrap up, before that happens, be sure to stick around because later we'll do the weekly sticker giveaway. Always a good time. Always a good time. If you do have a question tonight at any point during this live stream, post your question in the live chat in this format with the word question followed by your question, and that helps it stand out. And I'll answer it if I can. Or some talented people in the audience will answer it for you too. But thanks for being here. As always, it's a Monday night. It's a great way to start off the week. I look forward to it, and then when I see you here, it just makes me feel good. So we're going to just chat tonight. I thought I'd chat about yesterday's video, talk about any other projects coming up, answer your questions. Just, this is a way for us to just be like almost in the same room at the same time. And it's as close as we can get, other than if you come to the Equip Expo in October. I'll be there. Or possibly, I don't know if I'll go to the National Farm Machinery Show. I did both last year. National Farm Machinery Show is what? January, February? But Equip Expo, I'll be there kind of mulling around. It's a good time. So if you get a chance, head out there. So I'll look through some comments here. We'll kind of get started and, again, answer some questions and whatnot. I do want to mention, Kent, I saw your comment tonight, and we will be thinking of you. So thanks for sharing that, being so open with us. We do appreciate it. I know it's been a lot for you, and we'll be thinking of you. I think you said Thursday. So it's a lot, when people share that they have health issues, it's not easy to share, but it's also nice to share because we can support you, through our positive thoughts, through prayers, through anything that might just give you the strength and the encouragement that you might need. It's just never fun. So anyway, we will be thinking of you. And also, Kent, apologies, but you won the stickers and the mug a few weeks ago. I ordered the mug. I never got the stickers out. That's what the note says. I stuck them in the mail today because I thought you need to get the stickers too, and they're a little bit late. So you may get those. Maybe you'll get those for Thursday. What a nice surprise. So let's back up a bit to the comments, and I see that Chris was here. First one here. Looky, looky, the big winner tonight. Little old Watershed Overlook. First one here. Congratulations, Chris. You win bragging rights. All right. Terry's jumping right in with a question. And folks can answer Terry's question about the 7R, 716R1 front tires for the Kubota. The 7.2 tires are too expensive. I'm not clear on what that means, but I'm also multitasking here. Anyway, there's our friend Hunter, recent sticker winner. Congratulations, Hunter. Good to see you. Hunter brings his whole family and his teachers and his friends. They all come and chat here in the live chat, which is great. Woodster 300, good to see you. Phil from Peterson Farms of Little Nashville is in the house as well tonight. And William from Spotsylvania, Virginia, welcome. Thanks for being here tonight. And of course, our good friend, David from RCAF Polar Express. He's a Mahindra champion. He's a small plane pilot. He's a firewood connoisseur. He does it all at the RCAF Polar Express YouTube channel. Good to see you. And Chris had a question specifically for David. How do you get your tractor in your yard with all the wood on the pallets where they are? Good question. Okay. I'll just scroll through here for a moment. Yes, Chris, you noticed the thumbnail that I just was being creative, stripping the color away from everything but the tractor, the 2601. Thanks for noticing. Chris has a keen eye. He notices everything. That could be a problem, Chris, right? Let's ask your family. Chris notices everything. But I did have the picture Chris is talking about is the one where the B2601 is in the forest with a log across the pallet forks that I was cutting up, and that was part of yesterday's video. Which, by the way, thank you for watching yesterday's video. I know it was painful for some people to see because I was cutting with that dull chain, and man, that thing was dull. I got comments like, how could you let your chain get so dull? You're killing your chainsaw with that dull chain. You are, in fact, lazy. Well, like I said in the video, I know you should sharpen your chain every time you use it. A lot of comments said every time you fill the tank, you should touch up the chain. You know, in theory, that's good, but I just don't seem to have the patience to do that every time. Like, I have that hand file, that still hand file, which works great when it's new, but you're filing those little teeth, and it's like, how many of these things are there? And you got to turn around, do the other way, and you got to figure out the angle. And yes, I am making excuses, but it's just a bit of a pain. And once I get rolling, I don't want to stop and sharpen my chain. I want to just keep going. So I should, but I'm looking at different options for chainsaw sharpening. Now, I have that little steel hand file, and I've had it for years, so it's dumb that I haven't bought new files for it. You can replace the little rat tail file and the flat top file. You know, they're only good for so many sharpens. And I remember when it was new, I thought this thing's pretty nice. And then after the files fill up with chips and they get a little dull, you're just kind of rubbing it against the teeth, thinking this is not really working. And again, my fault. Just buy the new files for it. That's what I should do. Hey, Bernice. Good to see you. Hello, Margaret. Hello, David. Yeah, so, yeah, I should sharpen my chains more. Here's another thought I had. Now, I shared on that video the chains that I bought. Now, they're on sale right now on Amazon. I think it was $36 for 3 of them. So that's like $12 a chain. I think to have them sharpened costs $10 per chain. So it's wasteful, but it's like, you know what? I could just order half a dozen of these chains and just keep rotating them out. That's wasteful. But it's tough when they're pretty inexpensive that way, and they're good chains. Like they really do, they hold up pretty well. I like them quite a bit. But anyway, a friend of mine has a commercial chainsaw sharpener, the grinder that you set the chain in it. It's got the tooth stop so that you set the stop, you grind it, and maybe Jeff's watching right now, but you grind it and then you move the chain one notch, grind it again, then you rotate. And that does a nice job, and I think that's what a lot of the small engine shops would use to sharpen a chain. I'm thinking about buying it because he offered to sell it to me. It's used, obviously. I'm thinking about it because not only would I be able to sharpen my chains, I could keep all my dull chains together, uh, and then I could sharpen them all in one sitting and just have them ready and rotate them out during the day as I need to. Plus, I'm always thinking entrepreneurial. Now he was doing chainsaw sharpening as a little side gig. Well, I feel like if I have this thing set up, I could offer to sharpen chains for people in the local area. And if you really are charging $10 a piece, that's not very much for the work that's involved. But if somebody brings you 3 chains and you sharpen 3 chains in an hour, $30 an hour, it helps pay for the machine, and it could be something. I'm always thinking, like, I feel guilty buying anything. I don't know why I've always felt this way. I remember, since it's just us talking here, I guess I can just fill in this time with conversation. I remember when I was like 12 years old, maybe 13. I was kind of a nerd. Well, I was the same person I am today, but I liked tools. I liked fixing things. So I was like 12, 13, could have been 14, maybe 15. I don't know. It's in that area, young teen. And this was in the 80s. I got $100 for Christmas from my mom's then boyfriend. Because, my mom was a widow. So she had this boyfriend, and he gave us each $100. We thought he was rich. So I had this $100, and my brother and I, John, if you're watching, you might remember this, we went to Sears. And I always went right for the tool section, the craftsman section at Sears. And I still have most of it. I bought it wasn't a Craftsman, but it was a Sears socket set in a metal box. I bought that. I bought some open-end wrenches, some box wrenches. I bought some tools, and I spent the entire $100. And I felt so terrible. Like, I felt so bad that I spent all that money. Even though I had tools to show for it, I wasn't excited about it. And to this day, I don't like spending money. But it's funny because I bought probably the best thing you could buy. And what young teenage kid buys tools? But I bought these tools, and I just felt uncomfortable, kind of sick. Like, I can't believe I spent the whole $100. Like for some reason I thought I shouldn't have done that. But the funny thing is, like I said, I have almost all of those little sockets out in the barn in the original metal box, all disorganized. Some have been lost, but I still use them to this day. What I use most is it came with a little 1/4-inch set with it. It was a 3/8 drive, had 1/4-inch sockets, and the 1/4-inch like nut driver, the screwdriver handle with the 1/4-inch, and I still use that today. We're talking 45 years ago, probably, and I still use it. Just recently, I adjusted the headlights on the Ranger, and I went for that box because it had that little screwdriver end with the 1/4-inch and these little tiny sockets, like 5/32, and that's what I needed for the nut on the Ranger headlight. It's a set that I bought when I was a teenager, still using it. I still have a lot of the box wrenches, and I've bought others since then. And I've also gotten rid of a lot of things because I started buying, like, I went to Harbor Freight. I don't buy expensive stuff. Sometimes I buy good stuff, but I bought this Harbor Freight set thinking box wrench set or open end set, thinking these are good enough for what I do. They're not terrible junk. They're going to hold up fine for the stuff that I do. So I bought a nice set of wrenches, uh, SAE and metric. And I thought, I don't need all these other random open end wrenches. So I didn't get rid of them. I put them in another drawer. So I have the drawer with the organized set and then the drawer with all the mishmash in it. So I haven't gotten rid of them yet, but I really should. I mean, sometimes you need 2 half-inch wrenches, but aside from that, I shouldn't have all that stuff. Point is, I don't know if it was guilt or what it was that I bought these tools and just thought I should not have spent that $100. And for whatever reason, to this day, when I buy something, and I'm not cheap either, but I have to feel like I'm getting a good deal. Like when I buy, actually when I was an older teenager and started buying cars, I would buy a car like every 6 months. From the time I was 17 until probably the time I was 25, I would buy a car like every 6 months, every year. I would just change it out. I'd buy a car, usually a truck or a Jeep, but I was always able to sell it for more than I paid for it, which is not always the case with used vehicles. So I still have that mentality when I buy, except for when I bought the F-150 for $43,000. It's like, no, I'm not going to get my money back on that one. Although I might. Things are funny. Bought the Ranger. Well, I bought the Jeep. You know, that was only $600, but I put a lot of work into it. But I made money on it. Minus my time, I made money on the Jeep, which paid for the Ranger. So the Ranger was not $600. It was the $600 plus whatever I put into the Jeep. Probably $1,500, so $2,000 total, whatever it was. The Ranger was $3,200. I sold the Jeep for $3,200. Anyway, it worked out. And then we went and put money in the Ranger now. So now we're probably not going to get our money back from that. But the point is, I have to always feel like I'm getting a deal. And not that I'm cheap or tight or stingy. It's just that I have to feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of something. So that's what I do. Uh-oh. Pardon me. Just dropping equipment here. So, yeah, that's just how I am. The point of this goes all the way back to the chainsaw sharpener when I said I could probably sharpen chains for locals and make some money with it or make some money back with it. And that's my thought of like, well, if this thing could pay for itself, it doesn't have to pay for itself. I would use it. It's fine. But in my mind, it's like, how can I make this pay for itself? So I'm always thinking, I've never come up with that great idea that makes lots of money, but I'm always thinking how something can just be self-sufficient. So let me go on with questions. I don't know if I think I came full circle with the comment about the chainsaw sharpener. So let me answer a question from YouTuber Richard Klump. Question: I've been digging into your videos on Woodland Mills chippers. Do you have any experience with shredding bamboo or have other feedback from others? Well, I believe I did try to, no, you know what? I used the Bomalite brush mulcher on the back of the tractor to shred the bamboo that way. I have not tried to feed bamboo into the wood chipper, but I have to say I don't see why it wouldn't do a good job with that, because bamboo is a nice hard, well, it's a grass actually, which is interesting. I learned that several years ago. Bamboo is actually grass, but it's a hard product, and I think the chipper would do well with that because it would be brittle and it would break. I think it'll be just fine. I think if you're shredding bamboo, you may have a bigger problem on your hands that you're trying to keep up with destroying bamboo. I definitely have experience with bamboo, but not with shredding it. I don't know. Now, of course, our neighbors have a lot of bamboo, and I could probably go over there and cut a few pieces and run it through the chipper and see what it does. I bet they wouldn't mind. They have a lot, and they get a lot more every year. That's how it grows. That's what happens. Good question. Thank you. But I didn't really answer it, did I? I did not. Murphy Mowers from Tennessee. Great to see you. We have a lot of connections in Tennessee. Got family there. Got a lot of friends in Tennessee. So I like it. Brother just moved to Tennessee. So, Roadster, good evening. Ed, how are you holding up with this heat? Well, funny thing, it's been beautiful the last week. Like, we had this brutal heat before, but the last week has been just spectacular. Still hot. You saw in yesterday's video, at the end of the video, I was drenched with sweat because it was still a little bit humid, but it's summertime. You know, it was what summertime should be. It was like in the 80s, not terrible humidity. It was hot because I was working, but the heat wave is coming back, I think, this week. And the heat wave we've had up to this point has been horrible. Just, I didn't get a lot done during that time. You just don't want to go outside and do anything. But Ann and I were just talking about this. For the last week, we have turned off the air conditioners in the house. We have the mini splits. I turn this one on when I'm working in here, and we've got one in the bedroom, so we turn that on at night, and then we have one on the second floor that we've been keeping off this week. And then on the first floor, we have a window unit still because we haven't finished configuring what we're going to do and put a mini split there. And that one on the first floor has been off. So we've been really running one, maybe two, and not even consistently. So I'm trying to, it's like a game. I'm trying to bank our solar energy. I look at the solar app and see what we produced. I look at the electric company app to see whether we overproduced or underproduced. And most days, in these summer days, we're overproducing because the days are long. And we're producing, like yesterday, I think we overproduced 47 kilowatt hours. We probably used that much in a day. I could figure out the math. Like today, we generated 86 kilowatt hours, and we'll probably use half of that. So the other half gets banked for future use. And then come wintertime, or days where it's gray or rainy and we underproduce, we draw from that bank. So I'm trying to like keep, not that I'm trying to, I like keeping the air conditioners off because I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna bank some energy. I have become more energy conscious since we got the solar panels than I was before. You would think when you don't have solar panels and you're paying full price for electric that you would be very energy conscious. It's opposite for me. Now that we have solar panels, I find myself, and Ann will get mad at me for saying this because she's like, don't be a Scrooge, don't be so cheap. I'm not doing it out of cheapness. It's kind of a game. But I go around and turn lights off thinking we don't need to use that energy because that could bank some energy for us. So it's just interesting that I've become more energy conscious with the solar panels. I do think I'll make a video about those panels at some point. I'm still learning the system. We're still getting set up with the system. There's an SREC, SREC. I don't know if that's national or state. I was told today that New Jersey is one of the few states that actually pays you for the energy production. We can get into all that at some point. Maybe do a whole show on solar, but I'm learning it, and I have some footage of them installing it, and I'm still learning what I still don't really understand kilowatt hours and all that as well. But it's good. Our electric bill, you don't have a zero electric bill. You're going to have to pay like a service fee regardless. There's always going to be a bill. Our solar was turned on April 17th, and so we've got a bill from April to May, May to June, June to July. I think the first bill was $6. The second bill was $7. Both the last couple were $7. Somehow we have a credit now. I don't know, but it's pretty nice. Now, granted, you have to pay for the solar system unless you lease it. You know, you can lease it, you can finance it, you can pay for it, however you can do it. But you have to deduct that cost when you're thinking that you have free electric. Well, no, you've kind of prepaid. Basically, we have prepaid or are prepaying for like 8 years worth of electric, because that's kind of the break-even point. I think mathematically what we figured out is that the break-even point would be in 8 years. The cost of the system minus the cost savings plus the energy credits that were paid, that in 8 years it will zero out and have paid for itself. And then going forward from that 8 years, then we realize the actual savings, and we'll have like a $7-8 electric bill. So I don't know how I'm doing that again. So it's a long-term decision to get those solar panels. I think because we plan to stay here, and that's the idea, is we're trying to limit our costs so that as we get older and retire, that our living expenses will drop. So, by looking at 8 years from now, I will be, I guess, around official retirement age. So if I can retire and have almost no electric bill, we're doing things to bring our taxes down. The state of New Jersey has programs to keep you here if you're a senior citizen, or if you have a certain income level. There's tax breaks, and there are ways to reduce your overhead as you get older, and that's what we're trying to do. Because my income has also dropped, and that's just life. We won't talk about losing the job, but that was a big hit. That was a big one, and we're adjusting still to that because we want to, because that's how we want to live our lives. Okay. Jalen Outdoors says Woodland Mills now offers chainsaw sharpeners, $1,200 or $2,400 Canadian, so even cheaper for me. You could offer services for others. Interesting. I did not know that, and I will look at that. That's a lot of money, though, isn't it? It's still a lot of money. I'm talking like not even 20% of that to buy this used one that Jeff has. Okay. Yeah, David W., we're going back to chainsaw sharpening. Now, David W. has the file card brush. That's important to brush out your file to get the little chips out of it. And I don't have that because I'm lazy, apparently. Somebody called me lazy, but I think I said it in the video that maybe I was being lazy. So they weren't just calling me lazy. They were like, you're right, you are lazy. They were confirming what I said. All right. Yeah, Chris, I should buy a new tractor. That would make me feel better. It's hard to pull the trigger on those kind of things. All right. Let me scroll through. See if you have any questions or comments, if I triggered anything in your mind. By the way, happy Sons and Daughters Day. I looked that up earlier. So it's Son and Daughter Day. Okay. Yeah, William Murdaugh has been known to buy new tools and then keep using the old ones. Yeah, it's like you want to keep the new ones nice and fresh in their nice little containers or their organized area. Yeah, thanks, Ed. You're asking about the solar, and here I went on this long tangent about solar without even reading your question. So I pre-answered your question, but I think I did answer the question. If you have any specific questions, There you go. Margaret says, I'm welcome there with the wood chipper. We could try and chip up some bamboo. Bamboozled. All right. David, thank you for asking this question. Someone else asked this the other day about niece Rachel, and I don't really have an update for you, which is good news. That um, Rachel is just staying on, still doing speech therapy, still doing physical therapy, but all done with cancer treatments. And she is just strong and sweet and has a sense of humor. And she is just a worker. And she's doing the work. And I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if she'll fully recover speech or fully recover mobility, but she is not giving up. I can tell you that. And the great thing is that I know they don't like to use the words cancer free anymore for whatever reason. I've heard doctors say we don't use that term anymore. I don't know. I had my thyroid taken out like 6 years ago. There was a little nodule on my thyroid, and they're like, well, that's cancerous. You know, you can either leave it in and watch it for the rest of your life, or we could just take it out. And I said, well, then just take it out. Take out the whole thyroid, because you got to be on medicine either way. Because when your thyroid gets a little wacky, you got to take thyroid medicine. So whatever it was, they said, you're going to have to take this thyroid medicine. So just if you take the thyroid out completely, you still have to take the medicine, but now it's just easier. Anyway, so I never had like cancer, as far as like cancer that you had to have treatment. I never had to go through like treatments with radiation or chemo. It wasn't that kind of thing. It was just there's a little nodule, and and it was a little thing. They could barely find it, and they did a little biopsy and like, yeah, it is cancerous, but it's slow growing. So we took it out. That was it. No treatment. I mean, I guess removing your thyroid is treatment, but nothing after the fact. And then I have gone every year. They do an X-ray to make sure there's no thyroid tissue growing and everything's fine there. But I've said, like, am I cancer free? And like, we don't use that term anymore. Why not? I don't know. But point is, I'm going to say Rachel's cancer free. That's the point of that. That's what I'm talking about there. There's a question for you. Do you have a thyroid? Do you have thyroid problems? Have you had a thyroidectomy? Here's a funny story. If Anne's watching, she'll remember this. This was like the funniest thing ever. So the night before my surgery, complete thyroidectomy. They cut me right here, and they went in with a scalpel. I'm not grossing you out here, but they took out my thyroid, which is a little butterfly-shaped gland. That's what your thyroid is. What's it do? I forget. Something with your metabolism or whatever. But so they went in, they removed it completely. You know, the surgeon was great, did a great job. But so the night before the surgery, I'm like, I don't know what to do here. Like, you're a little nervous going into surgery. And I said, let's watch a movie. So we put on Netflix, and I said, I always wanted to see that movie about Roger Ebert from Siskel and Ebert at the movies, you know, the movie critics from PBS years ago. But I remembered that Roger Ebert had some kind of problem, you know, where they cut like half his face off, and it was like there was a hole like from his mouth to his jaw, and you could see right through it. But the guy, you know, he did a documentary. They did a documentary about him, and he was interviewed in it. So we're watching this documentary, and again, the guy's got like half his face is cut off. And they say, you know, Roger Ebert had thyroid cancer. So that's what his was. And here I am getting ready to go in for surgery for a thyroid, and Roger Ebert, you know, is like all that from thyroid. And in the end, he dies too. So spoiler alert. And it was an interesting documentary, though. It was really good. But you had to laugh. Like, that's the movie I picked before going in for thyroid surgery. I watched The movie about Roger Ebert and his thyroid cancer. What? See, it's fun to just chat. We can always find things to chat about. Let's go back, though, to things you care about. Things like wood chippers and tractors. That's what we're supposed to be talking about, Ed. Stop talking about dumb things that don't have to do with your channel. Question from Chris. Are you seeing the advantage of the double flywheel on the new Woodland Mills chipper, or are the two units too close to call? Good question, Chris. Good question. You saw on yesterday's video that I was using the wood chipper a good amount, and Ann and I used it last week without recording any video content, and I can't make that call yet, Chris. Here's why. Here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought this up, Chris, because I wanted to mention this earlier. Remember in yesterday's video, because I know you've all seen it, where I talked about the struts that hold pressure down on the drive wheel that pulls the branches in. Well, the WC68, which is the former wood chipper, has two heavy coil springs that hold that drum down, and as the limb comes in under the drum, the drum is pushing down on the limb and it's got teeth on it and it pulls it in. Those springs are super strong, and it's sometimes hard to get a limb under the wheel because of those springs. But the new wood chipper, the TF68 Pro, has like these gas struts on the side instead of springs. I don't know if they're better. I don't know if they're like softer to make it easier to get large limbs in. But I noticed yesterday as I was chipping the wood that I was having a hard time getting things to feed into the chipper. The drum was kind of just skipping over. It wasn't pulling even smaller branches in. It just was not pulling them in. And I had loosened up these struts because initially they were tight and it was hard to get big limbs under. So I loosened them up a little bit. And then yesterday I thought, well, let me tighten the struts back up. I mean, it was only a 1/4 inch or so, 1/2 inch. But I thought, let me tighten them back up. So I loosened the jam nut, and I went to tighten up the strut, and I noticed like I could just pull it with my hand. And I thought, well, doesn't seem to have any pressure pulling on it. Went to the other side. The other one was the same exact way. And then I grabbed the lever that is on top of the drum with the tractor off, and I could pick up that drum with my hand. And that was never the case with the WC68. So I called Woodland Mills. I spoke with them actually today and explained to them, should I be able to pick this drum up? And they're like, no, you definitely should not be able to pick that drum up. So they are sending me 2 new struts under warranty to replace the 2 that are apparently bad. I don't know how 2 could go bad. Very interesting. But they're sending me 2 new ones. So to answer your question, Chris, the twin flywheel there is a difference. You probably could hear it in yesterday's video. You can hear the whirring sound. It is a powerful blower, and I love that about it. So I haven't really tried to jam it with any evergreens yet or anything that would really need that extra oomph. So maybe when I get those new struts in there, I'll have a better comparison. I'll tell you this right now. And Woodland Mills, if you're listening, I'm sorry. But I haven't seen a significant benefit. And it's not fair probably for me to say this because I haven't used it enough. But so far at this rate, and that was your question, Chris, so far I have not seen a major benefit. I love that WC68. It works like 98% of the time doing everything I need it to do. So this one is just, it's performing as well, but I think I think with the new struts, it's going to help me because I was a little frustrated yesterday thinking this thing's not even taking the smaller limbs in. I don't know what's going on here. So if you're asking about the WC68, if that chipper is still available at a lower price, I wouldn't steer you away from buying that chipper instead of the twin flywheel. The twin flywheel is a great design, but is it that much better? I don't know. I don't know. And maybe they'll switch over at some point. Maybe they'll discontinue the WC68. I don't know any of this. I'm just making it up. Maybe they'll discontinue the WC68 and their standard wood chipper will have twin flywheel. Maybe that'll just become their design. I don't know. But I would definitely recommend either one at this point. But it's not like I'm saying you got to go with the TW because TF. I keep doing that. You got to go with the TF because it's so much better. No, I can't say that at this point tonight. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that you like watching, and I like having you here. I got to read these questions more because, David, I just read your question, and I just answered again. It's like I'm Karnak, right? I answered your question before I saw it. So I'll find out more. I'm actually interested when they do send the new shocks, gas shocks. I'll be able to actually pull open the old ones and see what the tension is there. Maybe I'll even cut one open and see what's inside. I don't know. There's got to be a spring in there pulling it, but I'll play a little bit. I'm a player, you know. I like to play with stuff, figure out how it works, and I'll tell you, I break a lot of things because I play. You know that saying when they say, you had to play, didn't you? You had to play. That was written about me because I play with things, and sometimes I break things. But that's how I learn. As a child, I took things apart. I took everything apart. All my toys, I took them apart because I would say, how does this work? What's up with this? I want to take it apart. Take it apart. I can remember taking toys apart when I was very little. Take it apart, and you take the lid off, and then like springs and sprockets would just fly out, and then the toy was trash because I couldn't put it back together. So that's what I did. I took things, and I do that now. I'll see things, and Ann will get that look on her face, like, "What are you doing? What are you thinking?" I'm like, "I just want to know how this works. I'm just curious about this. I'm a taker aparter. I'm a player. I'm a tinkerer. You had to play. You had to play. That's me." So I remember even like in third grade, a friend of mine came to my birthday party, and he said, "You like to put things together, don't you?" And I remember saying to him, "Well, I like to take things apart, but I can't always put them back together." And that year, he had bought me a model, probably my very first model car kit. I think it was a white '69 Chevy Camaro model kit. So he was just like feeling me out, saying, "You like that stuff, right?" Thinking, "Oh, he'll like this." So that was one of my first experiences putting things together. So that was beneficial, and I did like those plastic models. I had like a '78 Ford pickup truck. I had a 1957 Chevy. I remember putting that together. They were fun, and they're all gone. I didn't save any of them, and that's probably fine. Probably fine. Let's see what other questions I've pre-answered. Okay. Yeah, John's suggesting watch the wood yard because Chris uses a Dremel tool and it works great, super fast and easy. And John does it the same way. Good to know, John. Do you have a battery operated one so you don't have to plug it in so you can have it out in the field with you? Rechargeable or battery operated or 12 volt? 12 volt, 12 volt, 12 volt. Reminds me of Toy Boat. That's my favorite tongue twister. If you've never heard that, try saying Toy Boat like 10 times as fast as you can. Bet you can't. Kevin, thyroid problems. Yes, takes meds. See? It's very common. What? Thyroid Thyroid does lots for the body. Problems can lead to baldness, sugar metabolism problems with diabetes, and some more things. Yeah, I was worried because I didn't know anything about the thyroid. And I remember Jerry Lewis, who was this skinny, comedian. And then, like, when Jerry was in his 50s, he blew up. And it was like, and I thought, oh my gosh, did Jerry Lewis have thyroid problems? Because he got really big. And it wasn't. His was something else. But that's what I was worried. Like, they're going to take out your thyroid and then you're going to weigh 500 pounds. And I wasn't ready for that. Wasn't ready. Not that there's anything wrong with weighing 500 pounds. I just wasn't ready for that. Okay. Ed, thank you so much for that super sticker. I do appreciate that. The Great Spring versus Strut Wars. Yep, that's true. We'll figure that out. Thank you, though. That's very generous. I appreciate it. Richard Klump, let's chip some bamboo. Yep, Margaret said, come on over. Look at this. Here is Jalen Outdoors with an actual review. I have one of the Woodland Mills wood chippers with the dual flywheels. I find it really good at clearing the chute of leafy and small debris. Have you used it on evergreen? Because that is the big thing that I've had problems with. And I'll be honest, it's probably not... I think the problem I had with evergreens wasn't necessarily the shoot part. It was really kind of clogging up at the infeed. But maybe that's because it wasn't getting out of the chute. I don't know, but my big problem was pine, evergreen, when I was trying to, these boxwoods, which are really leafy, and of course cedar as well. Ross made it. Nice to see you, Ross. Well, Ross, you've got 5 minutes to watch the rest of the show. But good to see you. Okay, so I think at this time, and I don't know why, this has nothing to do with Woodland Mills at all. But let's do this. Let's do the sticker giveaway. Now, I know there's somebody new here tonight who doesn't know this, so I have to repeat myself. You're going to enter to win these stickers right here. Hunter, if you win, you won last week. If you win, Hunter, I'm going to draw again. Just telling you, man. So I'm going to enter a word or a phrase in the live chat, and you're going to type that in the live chat if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, and then we'll randomly draw and see who the sticker winner is this evening. Now, there's a word or a phrase I'm going to share, and you have to type it exactly the way you see it, other than uppercase and lowercase, doesn't matter. Point is, this has nothing to do with my conversations about Woodland Mills, but now it's just kind of funny. The word tonight is #lemon. Lemon. It can be uppercase, it can be lowercase, it doesn't matter. Why did I choose the word lemon tonight? It's because when I was coming upstairs, I walked through the kitchen and Anne had a bowl full of lemons, and they were pretty, and I thought, oh, those lemons are pretty. And I just, when I was up here tonight getting ready, thinking of a word, I just typed in #lemon. I like to think of words that you might not think of ahead of time. So, enter #lemon, and that's how it works. See? Christine, who will always be young. #lemon. Spooky Bigfoot. #lemon in lowercase. Mike Young. Hey, Mike Young, are you related to Christine Young? Are we getting 2 entries out of this family tonight? Could be. All right, so hashtag lemon, easy word. Greg, hashtag lemon. Bob. Lots of funny jokes from people like Kent, who won the stickers, and he's choosing not to enter tonight, knowing that he won't win. All right, but we're gonna draw. Let's get this hovering. Bam. Tyson Cobb. Tyson Cobb is our winner tonight, our sticker winner. Congratulations, Tyson Cobb. You are tonight's sticker giveaway winner. Congratulations. Well, Tyson, I need some information from you. Don't share it here publicly. Don't do that, Tyson. Email it to me at contactmcgtv@gmail.com and send me your mailing address and your name if that's not really your name. If it is your name, I already know your name. But send your name and your mailing address, and I will pop these 2 stickers in the mail for you, Tyson Cobb. Congratulations. That's what you got to do, Tyson. Shoot me that email. Everybody, give it up for Tyson Cobb, tonight's sticker giveaway winner. All right. We'll look back for any final questions. But I do want to thank you for being here tonight. I do want to thank you for starting your week out with me. It makes me feel good, and I do appreciate that very much. By the way, I'm going to say, well, we're still early. You know, the month is only halfway over. But I'm going to make a call right now that Monday, September 1st, which is the day we celebrate Labor Day, we're going to say no live stream on that day. So I'm going to say expect not to have a live stream because I'll just be coming back from the Bluegrass Festival. So I think Monday we'll be taking off for that Labor Day. So make some good plans for Labor Day so that maybe you'll be driving home from the Bluegrass Festival anyway on that day. Possibly. All right, let's look at any parting questions or comments. Okay, there's an answer from Jalen Outdoors, who mostly chips pine and cedar greens, and it clears out very nicely. So that is good to know. And that's the big test, for sure. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. That's right, Hunter. No live stream on Labor Day next month. Good remembering. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you again for being here tonight. It means the world to me that you watch the channel, that you come to the live stream, that you participate in this fun little community that we have here. And I am just eternally grateful for your support. Means the world. So I hope that you have a great week, and I'll be thinking about you. And again, everybody, let's all simultaneously just send up our positive thoughts, our prayers, anything that will help Kent out on Thursday to know that he has a community here who supports him and who are on his side. So, Kent, we're all here for you, man. Right? Give it up for Kent. So, thanks again. Keep in touch. Let me know what you'd like to talk about here. Let me know if you have any guests that you'd like me to try to get here on the show to talk with as well, and we'll work on that. So, thanks a bunch. I got distracted a second. Listen, have a great week. Thanks for being here. As always, I look forward to seeing you next time.